Bruce's big call Dinar Intel Thursday night July 24, 25. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Transcribed by Wiser, now emailed to recaps. Welcome everybody to the big call. It is Thursday, July 24th and you're listening to the big call. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We've got Sue and I here. Bob will be joining us. Hopefully around 9:30 tonight. He's going to attend a high school reunion, his 50th reunion up north, and he's flown up to, well, he's flown to upstate New York, and he'll be checking in with us from there on remote location tonight. So that's going to be kind of fun that Bob come in, somewhere around 9:30. Nice time and a nice safe home on Sunday. So very welcome to you in the meantime. Alright, Bob, thanks so much for checking in. Alright, bye. Alright, Sue, it's that magical time for Intel. It is, and I want to complete. This is a question that came in. Okay, this is from Regine and she says the speaker said that an irrevocable trust is needed to receive the contracted rate, not a contracted rate for the ZIM for the humanitarian project. So that we have to take it to the exchange center to receive these money. Last year, so I heard, do not need any Trump. Could you tell me which of these is true? Okay, for you. Okay, Sue. That sounds fair. Let me talk about that, and her name is Regine. Yeah, not Regina. Okay, Commission. Regine, thank you for your question. Okay, when you say the speaker, are you referring to me? Is she Sue referring to me or somebody else on another call saying that you needed an irrevocable in order to do your exchange for the contracted rate, which isn't a contractor, and do the virtual? Our revocable trust, no trust. That's all she needs. Good, okay, thank you, Sue. That's great. That's a good question. Like, Sue just said, there is no contract rate on the ZIM. Whoever put that out? There's no contract rate on the ZIM. The only currency, remember, the Zimbabwe dollar is really being treated as a bearer bond. You're redeeming your ZIM. You're exchanging your other currencies, if you have them. Now, the contract rate is referring to the dinar. That's the Iraqi dinar. Okay, and that contract rate is a very high rate. And you can, if you're not offered that rate, you can ask them for the contract rate. And you're not under a contract with it. It was a rate that was contracted for the ZIM by President Trump, so that I didn't mean for the dinar. Excuse me, for the dinar by President Trump, and it's about getting the best rate. Awesome, possible that President Trump wants us to get for the dinar. Now, trust, no. Trust. Revocable, irrevocable. Trust. They would prefer if you had a trust, it can be revocable. It can be revocable. It depends on what your attorney has worked out with you or your trust people have worked out for you. They prefer if you have that to come into the redemption center with it, which I have, Sue has. We're going into the redemption center with our trust paperwork. Okay, now, if you don't have it, they would like you to get a trust, especially if you're ZIM holder, because we're talking a lot money, and as you guys know, if you have ZIM, you know, even if you have dinar or dong, or rupiah money, or any number of the currencies that are going up in values, but the point is this, they would like you to get a trust as soon as you can get it, and they'll be able to assist you in getting one or setting up an attorney for you if you don't find your own trust attorney or your own law office to do this type of work. Fortunately, I have an attorney that's a good friend, and we've already done it. We did it I guess about 3-4 years ago. So I'm all set from that aspect, but you guys should, get that done. If you don't have a trust already, you should get one and get it done shortly after your exchange. You do not have that trust to do your exchange, but the exchange proceeds that go into your quantum account would need to be in your name, because you don't have a trust name or an LLC name or anything set up yet. Use a trust as your umbrella for everything that you're doing, as a master trust for everything that you're doing. Did that answer the question sufficiently, Sue? I think it did. I have one more question. This is a really good one. I'm going to read it and answer it. And then you answer it. Okay, so mining. Do we need to identify the system, bed, 100 program all 6 people? We are recommending first medbeds immediately, or can we turn their names in later? I think for some of my potential recommendations, it will be easier to persuade them to use the med if they see the results from me first. So I don't have that many people, but I'm going to pretend I do, and I would ask at the time of my exchange, tell them I was going to use the med bed, and that is for you, Harry, that I was intending to bring or introduce 6 individuals to the med beds and how that works, number 1. But I will be using the full 6 recommendations. And I would just let it be known and ask them if there's anything else that they need from me. Don't have to give names right away, necessarily, but just say I will utilizing that and exercising that. I'm going to go in first. And that's how I would approach it. Take it away, Bruce. That's a good answer, Sue, and I've got a very good question. Really, I have some people that are not even in the currencies a few. And there's one guy. I want to get in the med bed I wanted, but he wants to see me after I come out. He wants to see and I think his jaw drop, as a lot of people will, and, but I do plan to put his name and phone number on my list. Because he's older and he's in great shape. But the way things are, you never know. And he's a good friend, and I think he's pretty much agreed principle that he wants to do it. Yes, but I would say, look at your own list, pick people that are dire need their Zim holders, great. Dire need gets first priority with them, then just list those people. And if there are people that aren't convinced until they see you after the med bed, that's fine. That's fine. But this is you'll see the only thing is, this is your one chance to put those people's names and phone numbers. Here's something interesting that is coming up because of Harry's question. Here's some Zim holders, and they're looking to us to recommend, because of the quality of people that we are. The people that should have access to those med beds because of you, Harry, I'm going to do is I'm going to say I have this one individual. This is what I'm going to do because we can, I have this one individual. This is who I'd like to get. And I would like to request that if I come across the 5 other individuals, they will also gain access to that. And I have it be known that 6 people maybe through me may be going to the med beds. That's a way for a group of people that are listening to this right now, who may just have one person to be the advocates for people they may run across in the next year or whatever. And that helps the system. That helps the med beds, and not when you're available. Okay, good questions, too. Thank you, Harry. To the way I can fill my list, and I've got plenty of people to do that with, but I think there's time or whatever. But they want us to recommend 6 or up to 6 people, because they figure like, okay, if you're qualified as a Zim holder and you've got some need and you go into the med bed, then you are recommending somebody by personal referral. You're making a personal referral of a person that you know, and that goes a long way to getting them to be invited, quote, unquote, into your recommendation. And that counts you. In this case, it's not just pulling somebody in off the street that you've never known. These are people that you have some kind of a relationship with, and like Sue talked about in her segment tonight. It's about relationship. This is an example of a relationship of a friend or a family member that that needs to get in and out of that med bed. So I hope that answered the question for Harry. Sue, your answer. My answer, okay. Anything else that's out there? Anything else? Both questions. Thank you, Sue. Alrighty, now let's talk about where we are now in relationship to us getting our notifications. There are meetings currently going on over the next several days, and these are high quality meetings. Our top people, including President Trump's, involved. Our top financial people, I would think our military, some generals, are really involved. It's a good-sized group, and they are determining, right now, as far as the latest update I had today, they're determining when to let the notification and they're trying to decide whether to let that happen, either Monday or Tuesday. On our notifications for Tier 4B Monday or Tuesday. And it could be notifications for everybody. Meaning bondholders in Tier 3, Tier 4A groups and other groups in that same time, and then as in 4B the Internet group, which is the largest group of the public, maybe not, but they're going to let us know on that. Well, I don't know that. I'll know. I may know before Monday or Tuesday, but we're supposed to decide on Monday or Tuesday, this coming Monday, Tuesday on our notifications, and then we would go, most likely, the next day. If we got notified Monday afternoon, we'd probably start on Tuesday. If we got notified Tuesday morning, we probably still start on Tuesday for our exchanges and our redemption of Zim. Okay, that's pretty much where that is.
Let's see what else is important to what we have. I think that is the crux of what we're all waiting for, Sue. I think that's everything we want to hear about in a nutshell. I can tell you Iraq is going to bring out a new right Sunday, and we'll find out about it on the Forex after 5 p.m. Eastern, and our banks and redemption centers will have it on their screens probably Monday morning. What about the EBS? What about the ED thing? Well, what? Okay, let's get into this. I can't speak to the use of the EBS itself, but I can tell you that we've got Nasara and Visera, starting with guess what? The first 2 pieces of Nasara are going to be Doge payments, August, first, second, third, and R&R, restitution, reconciliation, allowance, R&R, and that R&R will happen for us that are currency holders. When we go to the redemption center, it will be in our Quantum account already, and we'll find it out as we activate our Quantum card. That's when we'll see how much our R&R is. But you're going to get your Doge alphabetically based on where your last name fits in the alphabet. In either the first, if it's early in the alphabet, if it's middle of the alphabet, it would be on the 2nd of August, which is Sunday. And the third, if I got that right, Friday, Saturday, Sunday would be the last, or the third would be end of the OK. So that will determine, and those will be by direct deposit, and there'll be substantial Doge payments, and they are so be higher, very high, and that will be something that we'll get at the redemption center. So in August, we get Doge first 3 days, is what I'm hearing, first 3 days. August, 1, 2nd or 3rd, and we get increase in Social Security. If you're on Social Security, you'll get an increase in the amount been receiving, and it'll be a pretty nice increase. Now, of all the things that we're doing, it's the least important importance. The biggest, of course, would be especially if you're redeeming ZEM. Second biggest could be Doge, or it could be R&R, cause there are so many variables. On the R&R, so many different variables, but it'd be substantial, and parts of Nasara are going to come out first. Now you about this, Nasara coming out by the end of the first week in August or the second week. That's where they might talk about the changes in taxation, the changes in no more, for example, no more real estate taxes. You know what I mean, a personal preference, personal have something about the, income tax going away. I think it's all going to come out somewhere between the first week in August and probably the end of November. That's what I'm today. So we'll see how it all comes out. It's going to be kind of neat. I think it's going to be amazing. And I'm excited about that, for not just for us, but for everybody, and especially people that aren't even in the currencies. They don't have any currency, but they're still, especially if they're older, they're going to get a lot of money in the DOS payments penalty, or if they pay taxes, if they paid a lot of interest on a mortgage, if they paid interest on a credit card, if they paid our loans. Those are probably the 4 big parts of it. You add to that your birth certificate, money. If you had a divorce, there's big, tradable current bond there. If you had a death, there's something there. And what's the other one? I'm forgetting. Marriage, divorces, what do you think? What do you think? No, I'm talking about a separate bond, tradable thing like birth certificate. Oh, birth certificate, death certificate, and divorce to get one. There's all of that. Those 4 things were created on us as bonds for certificate, death certificate. Child, oh, boy. Don't ask me that, I know. Child, I'm not sure how that's going to work. Hi, Henry, good to hear you. Good hear from Henry. Got plans for you, Henry, North Carolina. Part of the initial team will help on rebuild. Some text goes here, and all that sounds coming from YouTube, from you and your pod recommendation, thank you. Yeah, okay, well, listen, I assume, thank you, Henry. I don't know about that one. I think we have to just see what happens. I can't answer that. I don't want to be incorrect on that. It's hard enough for me to try to correct on all the other stuff. I think I know, guys, we're in a good time. We should have a very good, enjoyable weekend, and we should be looking forward to, and they're gonna okay. The other thing is, on Sunday night, going to do the testing. They're calling triggers, but I think of them more as a test on cell phones. On internet, also on the Starlink satellite system, so they're just final test protocols that they're getting ready before they release emails to us, Monday or Tuesday, when I have a feeling it'll be Monday afternoon. Or Tuesday morning when it's exchanges starting Tuesday, but they're going to determine that and make that decision by Sunday. So I think we all should be a little bit excited. We got a really cool revelation, and Sue doesn't even know what it is yet, so I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna work out really well. So I want to say, guys, it's been great. I don't know. Let's see Tuesday season. Maybe I think we'll plan to have a celebration call. So check back in when it's Tuesday night. Let's go ahead and pray the call out. I want to thank Sue very much for helping me host the call tonight, as she has done for the last years, and Bob as well for checking in tonight, upstate New York, Geneva, New York, and they don't talk like that up there. I'm disappointed, and I like to Pastor Scott and Jeannie DC. K the satellite team, the getting signal out all over the globe. And of course, our intel sources. Thank you for following this faithfully over the last 14 years. So let's do this, guys, let's pray, love, Turn off the recording. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Recaps.